So the next calibration we're going to do is a mass flow vibration calibration. This is essential for the yield monitoring system to perform correctly. So we simply push mass flow vibration calibration. Up at the top, it's going to tell us how often it's recommended and how long it should take. So at the bottom, we simply push begin calibration. So it's going to tell us what prerequisites do we have to meet. Machine in park, header attached. Since we don't have a header, it's going to give us the ability to override that. We'll tell it okay. So the header has to be engaged and the separator has to be engaged. You'll see we get check marks there. Engine has to be on high idle. So once we get everything in the, and we meet the proper prerequisites, we simply hit next and the calibration begins. So what mass flow vibration calibration actually does is it takes the vibrations of the machine out of the yield calculation, which makes our yield calculation much more accurate. We know that the machine does vibrate, even though the cab does dampen a lot of that vibrations on the outside of the machine where the yield monitoring actually happens. There's still a lot of vibration. So this takes the machine vibration out of this calibration. So once we get to step 2, we simply wait for the Gen 4 command center to complete the calibration. Once that calibration has been completed, it will go to the next step automatically. All right, so we've now completed our mass flow vibration calibration. We get our check mark, then we simply push save. Pretty easy calibration. So the next calibration we're going to look for is our moisture sensor temperature calibration. Once we push it, we're going to begin our calibration. So the moisture sensor temperature calibration is exactly what it sounds like. It's the actual temperature inside of the moisture sensor. So one thing to remember that's important about this is we want to make sure that that temperature has been set and that it matches ambient temperature outside of the machine. So this is going to tell us the actual temperature of the machine. So you can take something as simple as your phone. If you have a weather station with you, if you have just a thermometer outside the cab, we just simply add or subtract to make sure that the temperature on the sensor actually matches the ambient temperature outside. So once we're happy with that number, we're going to move it up a bit and we're going to push save. Once we get there, we close it out and we've calibrated moisture sensor temperature.